focus now as you and Shane try to win this again?
Yeah, Look, it's been an amazing few days after, and to be able to reflect on it, and everything that happened, and the magnitude of everything, and I think that the big thing for me is just how the whole journey sort of resonated with people, and the people that have reached out to me, and that's been absolutely amazing. So look, it's not every day you get to fulfill one of your lifelong goals and dreams, and I've just really tried to enjoy everything that comes along with that. I went to we first went to London with Erica and Poppy to see our new home that we're building there last week, and then we made the trip over to Belfast to see my mum and dad, and a few other people that are important to me over there, and just to be with them, to be with Erica and Poppy and my mum and dad, and to see Michael Bannon, my lifelong coach, and spend a bit more time with Harry and his wife, and just celebrate with the people that have been a part of this whole thing for my entire career, my entire life was absolutely amazing. As you can hear, I've picked up a bit of a cold on the way, so feeling a little bit under the weather. But obviously, it's been an amazing few days. But I'm excited and happy to be here with my man, and we're looking forward to a great week, and I'm trying to defend.
Yeah, Shane, talk a little bit about your season up to this point. 3 top 10s, season best runner-up finish at Pebble Beach to this guy. If you can talk a little bit about your form coming into the week.
Yeah, it's been decent. As a pro golfer, you want to get wins. You don't want place finishes. But I feel like my golf's been pretty consistent. I've in a decent position in FedEx Cup. And I'm moving up the world rankings. I'm happy where I'm at, but I kind of need to be patient from here. And I put myself in a decent position in Augusta a couple of weeks ago, but I just had a really poor sort of last 20 holes. I was very, very happy with how the whole week went up until kind of the back 9 on Sunday. But I think, I'm looking forward to the rest of the year. Obviously, I'm here. I'm happy we're here. I wasn't sure. Obviously when Rory did what he did a couple of weeks ago, I wasn't sure how things were going to pan out. So I'm happy we're here, and I'm looking forward to a great week.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll open it up to questions. If you'll raise your hands, we'll get a microphone to you. Let's start right here on the front. Where's the? Yeah, go ahead, Brody. No.
I guess for both of you, but Rory, a year ago when you came here, it was maybe your game wasn't quite where you wanted yet, and you were trying to get back on the board. It was just a very different time. And now and it felt like it was a release a little bit, kind of coming here and having fun with Shane and your caddies. How different is it right now, just kind of where you are in your life and your career to come here in a very different tone?
If you had asked me a year ago that I'd be sitting here in this position and everything that's happened, but I honestly could not be in a better place in my life, professionally, personally, all of it. It's amazing what a year can do. But this tournament last year was a really cool moment for both of us, and I think it probably injected a little bit of joy back into golf for me in some way, which I think is really, really important not to lose that. And for me, I had a great year last year, and I think this tournament was sort of the catalyst to the really good golf that I played for the rest of the year.
All right, let's go to Jeff in the back and then up front.
Roy, you mentioned earlier about how so many people connected with you, about how your journeys resonated. Could you expand on that a little bit, and also assume some of those were maybe even beyond golf, some of those instances?
Yeah, very much beyond golf. I spoke to 2 presidents the day after, which was pretty cool. Just people reaching out from all walks of life, whether it be, sports, entertainment, culture, just all of it. People that you would never even think that would watch golf or would know what's going on. That was very, very humbling, I guess. But I think it's people can. I think people can see themselves in the struggle at times, and everything that you sort of try to put into getting the best out of yourself in that journey. And I think people watching, someone finally, get it done, something they've been trying to do for a decade plus. That's why I say I think it resonated with a lot of people.
All right, let's go to Scott and then back row.
All right, everyone, settle down. Today, we're going after this very day.
Congratulations to both of you, and welcome back. Rory, considering the whirlwind your life has been since April 13th, what did it mean to you to follow through with this commitment to being defending champions and all that stuff, to come back here?
Yeah, we were talking about it yesterday on the flight here. Shane said to his caddy Darren on the back nine on
I said
Sunday.
to my caddy on the 15th hole at Augusta, obviously I was done, so I was watching the leaderboard. And I think you just made double on 13. And I said to Darren, no matter what happens the next few holes, I think we're going to do well to get him to New Orleans. So, if things didn't go his way, I don't think he'd want to be here. And I thought, if things did go his way, he might be somewhere else. But I'm happy he's here. Yeah,
I think it was important to me to, because that was one of the things, Shane said to me that night. Are you still wanting to come and, play Zurich? And I said, absolutely. We're defending a title. We had so much fun last year here. So, obviously it's important for me to honor that commitment.
All right, let's go to the back, and then we'll get Jack and Dave.
Right here, Rory. Obviously, coming off such an emotional win and earning that first career Grand Slam. In your first event since doing that, I mean, how eager are you to kind of get back out there since then? And how do you think that experience has altered your confidence kind of as a golfer now finally earning that?
Yeah, I'm eager to get back out there. I think this is the perfect atmosphere to do it in. I think that's a part of the reason that I wanted to honor the commitment to be here, is because it's a fun event to be out there with Shane. It's and I also know that it's not all on me. He has to do some of the work too. So maybe a lot of it the next 2 days. But it's a perfect tournament to come back to. Just good positive vibes from last year, and then I don't know if it gives me more confidence. I've always been very confident in my abilities as a golfer. I do think that the whole day on Sunday at Augusta, I don't think I'll have to ever play a harder round of golf in my life. I certainly. I said I certainly don't want to be placed back on that 15th tee box on that Sunday afternoon. So I think that to be able to get through that and produce the shots when I needed to, that obviously gives me confidence, and I can always draw back on that experience.
All right, let's get Jack and Dave.
Rory, your golf ball change has made a lot of news the last couple months. Given that you guys have to play the same golf ball for 2 rounds, have you decided which ball you're going to be using for this year for the alternate shot, and kind of what goes into getting ready to play one another's golf balls?
Yeah, I'd say we'll probably just do the same thing as we did last year. If Shane's hitting the approach into the green, I'll probably hit his golf ball off the tee. And then vice versa, he'll hit my golf ball off the tee, and if I'm hitting the approach. But she
did some testing yesterday morning back home. When we delayed our trip, I went down to the range and we both practiced the same place. So both our golf balls are there. So I did some testing; they're pretty similar. So we could actually use either ors, but it's foursomes. Like, we've played a lot of foursomes growing up. Obviously Ryder Cups and stuff. So you kind of figure out how to do it. It's you drive each other's golf ball, and then, because driving is not the issue, it's having, especially when it gets windy or the wind's swirling, you want to have control of your ball. So I think, we figured it out last year. We'll do it this year.
Yeah.
All right, let's go Dave and then Brody.
Rory, I'd imagine a couple of the big goals that you may have sort of formally set out for yourself at the beginning of the season have now been checked off. At some point this year, or will you wait maybe till the end of the year to sort of reestablish what goals you would have for the remainder of 2025? And Shane, I feel bad because you haven't done a whole lot of talking. What are some of your...
I knew, like, I've actually got more questions than I thought I was going to get.
But you're also going to be defending champion when we go back to Port Rush. What are some of your goals as well throughout the rest of 2025?
I think Rory's probably, his goals are, who cares anymore? He's got the,
I care.
He can, he can take it easy for a while. But no, going back to Port Rush is going to be incredible. I mean, Rory going back as a Masters champion now is kind of going to take a little bit of heat off me again, so I'm pretty happy with that. So, no, it's going to be a great tournament. I think, look, I seen something yesterday where I think 278,000 people are going to attend the Open this year at Port Rush. I think 1 million people applied for tickets. It's going to be an incredible event, and I'm just going to be happy to be a part of it.
All right, let's take a few more. Let's go Brody, MK, and then Brett.
Shane, you obviously were in contention trying to win 2 weeks ago. You had 20, 30 minutes from when you finished to when Rory finishes? Like, what is that time of you are processing what you need to process, but then you're there for that moment with him?
Yeah, honestly, it was the weirdest day ever for me because obviously I'm going out there and I get off to a decent start. Birdie's second, it gets 6 under, and I'm sort of thinking, Master Sunday. I'm watching Justin Rose do what he did in front of me. He's a group in front of me, so very strange day. And then I just had a bad day, and then you get to watch one of your really close friends kind of do what he does. But I was sort of, I was out of it for a long time, and I was watching the leaderboard going around, then come in, and I have to deal with my own disappointments first. I actually went to the locker room for like 15 minutes just to gather my own thoughts, watched a bit of golf, watched what he was doing out there. And then after that, it's sort of I'm just happy for him. I know what he's been through the last, certainly the last 10 years, since, the Grand Slam was on. The pressure has been put on him by, not so much by himself, but by everyone outside of it. Has been, pretty tough, and he's had to deal with a lot of disappointment. So it was pretty cool to see him do that. And I think what everyone saw on the 18 green that day was just pure relief. And, I was very happy for him. But yeah, it was honestly, it was one of the weirdest days ever for me. Because you're out there trying to win the Masters yourself, but then when one of your close friends does it, you have no choice but to be happy for him, because it is a great occasion. And I think it's a great occasion for golf, for everybody in golf. At the end of the day, it's history. 6th person ever to do the Grand Slam is, it's no joke. It's something that obviously Jordan has a chance to do it in a couple of weeks, but will it ever be done again? Who knows? It's a pretty tough thing to do, and Rory's found that out over the last 15 years. So I was just happy for him.
I jumped in too fast there. Back to Dave for Rory.
Yeah, goals. I think one shared goal that we both have is winning at Bethpage. That's that would be an unbelievable way to cap off the year. But yeah, I mean, the one thing I feel like what helped me to get over the line at Augusta was really trying to focus on, I've talked, and we both work with Bob Rutella, but, basically the one thing I try to do after the end of every round is go and look myself in the mirror and say, that's how I want to feel when I play golf. And that, if that's my goal for the rest of my career, and I can go after every round and I can look in the mirror and I can say that to myself, then, the results will take care of themselves.
All right, MK and then Brett.
For both of you, what is the difference in confidence gained between winning individually and winning as a team?
Winning, obviously winning individually, you've done it all yourself. Obviously you've got your team of people around you, and you get a lot of satisfaction from that. But I think winning as a team was honestly one of the coolest experience you can have. Anytime you win, I know, last year we won this tournament, and Rory obviously played great, but I knew I played my part as well. So you're kind of going away thinking, we've both done pretty well to win this tournament. And I feel like there was a certain stage during the tournament last year where my confidence wasn't great, because I didn't feel like I was helping the team as much as I would have liked. But when I look back, and I actually did well. It was the back nine on Saturday. The front nine, we opened up, and I did a bit of the work at the start, and then Rory turned into Rory McIlroy for the last 10 holes. I think he birdied 7 of the last 10 or something like that. And I sort of didn't feel great actually going to bed that night. I felt like I didn't, do much that day. But when I look back, so confidence is, winning just breeds confidence. And I think, obviously as an individual, it much more confidence, but as a team, it certainly helped me last season. Like, I felt like I kicked on after this tournament last season and played pretty well, and it certainly helped him since then as well. So yeah,
I certainly think it's more fun to win as a team. It's a shared experience. I think that's a big part of it. But yeah, I think we can both look back to last year here and think about the times when, like Shane used a new putter here last year for the first time, right? But like he held that putt in regulation, which got us into the well, no, but it was. Hey, I've certainly missed shorter. But just stuff like that, he was struggling with his putting. He came here with a new putter. He held a 3-footer, but under pressure to that's an important thing. And like those little things can help kick you on to the rest of the year.